I'm happy to come down and spend a bit of time with you guys and see what's happening down here. Drove past earlier in the week and I hadn't actually been down here before, so it was good to see, you know, a nice wild food foresty area, which is cool.
That's being kind.
So today, it's good to see. You want that nice dense wilderness type garden. That's real magic, isn't it? So we got some fresh cow manure today. We're gonna make a little CPP pit. We're going to talk a bit about preps, and then we're going to plant a high density agroforestry production system here. It's probably close. It's probably closer. Well, the term probably used to describe it. Nah, I'm alright. I'll come over there as well. The closest term to describe this style of agroforestry is probably syntropics. But even then, I don't call it syntropics because I don't follow the full syntropic style. A couple of my good friends are syntropic farmers, and that's all they do. They're just totally focused on that. So it is a bit different. It's interesting to spend time with them. But we're focusing on trying to bring together all the different elements, you know, all the different principles into one production system, easily to manage system. So that's what we're going to be doing with these two beds. We're going to plant a tree and cover crop bed. We're going to chuck a couple of rips in the grass and get some cover crops in there as well. So we're going to produce all our own matter, all our own mulch and fertiliser right there in the system. We're going to plant a high production veg strip, which will be on the far bed because that's western sun that way, is it? Yeah, cool. So we're gonna put the tree system here to give us a little bit of a control against how much sun we actually let in. But before we get to all that, we're gonna get into biodynamics. So who here has heard about biodynamics? Few people? Okay, cool. So I guess biodynamic, the difference is really I see it as a enhancement system or a way to fix or nourish the planet. We use a certain set of preparations, but the word biodynamic basically means life energy. So we're trying to accumulate that life energy and trying to capture that and reactivate that in the planet. So we use some preps to do that. That's, I guess, the core difference between biodynamics and anything else is the preparations, really. So here's BD500, which is a corn manure. It's a foundational prep that we make. So we take the fresh lactating cow manure and we pack it inside cow horn. And the reason we do that is because the cow horns are very receptive in nature. So when we bury that in the earth over winter, then it will receive the forces that are coming down in winter. Because winter's a bit of a breathing in period for the planet. So in autumn it starts its inhale, and then in winter it's very internally active. And so the earth's the most active during that period underneath the soil. There's not much going on. So you notice it with the mints and the potatoes, anything like that. You know, as you come out of winter and hit spring, there's just mint everywhere. So it's been building all this energy and compounding itself, getting ready for that point. So during that time period of winter, that's when, you know, a lot of the Earth's energy is coming in and getting stored, and then in spring it's going back out. So that's when you get that big release. So with the cow horn, with the 500, we're wanting to catch all of that, receive it, and condense it into this material, and it comes out as like a pure velvety, almost odorless humus. It's really nice, and we use this to open up the soil, to make it friable, make it receptive to water, and to basically re-energize the soil and fix the energetic currents that are kind of on top of the planet, forming a little mesh. So we're wanting to build that mesh back up and then activate to be able to actually take in what's happening. You know, we talk about the sun and that, you know, we all know how important the sun is. You can't grow any food without the sun, right? But, you know, that's just one planet up there, and there's sun, planet, star, whatever it is, but there's just one. There's the moon, and there's all the other planets in our solar system, the inner and the outer planets, and so they're also there doing things. They're not just sitting up there randomly spinning around for no reason. So we're wanting to catch all that, and we're wanting to bring it in. So this is a very basic prep that everyone should really be making if they have access to cow horns. It's got to be female, not bull, And I guess I should probably talk about the horn. Most universities or Western scientists or whatever, they don't really actually know what the horn is on the cow for. But in 1924, when Steiner gave his lectures, he was talking about the type of horns, and on caribou and that as well. And it's a way to basically take in the forces, cycle them through the digestive system, and back out and stream it out. So it's a set of antennas basically. And that's why when you cut them off, you have all these problems with bloat and all this other stuff. It's linked into that system. And a lot of that is the astral type of energy. So there's two types of energy. There's the astral, which is like, astral traveling. So it's quite spacey, it's quite out there. It's all the stuff that's coming from up here in the sky. So the ethereal is easy to remember because it's earth. So there's everything underneath the plant. So there's a top and a bottom kind of entry point into the plant. And that astrality has a smell. You know, when you go up into the forest, high up in the forest or high up in elevation, and you take that, you smell that distinct kind of odor that's coming in off the forest. That is a physical, like a physical way to take in the astrality. That's how you smell it through your senses. So it's there all the time subtly, but it's when you get up to those high points that you can really actually acknowledge that it's there. It's the same in cow manure too, Cut open a cow's stomach, but there's odor, there's a huge odor that comes in. So that's the astrality. So the cow has an ability to actually take that astral force, bring it in, condense it, and bring it into the land. So it's actually a specialized kind of machine for restoring the Earth's fertility, and taking in those forces and putting them into the ground. Now, of course, the way we manage cattle is pretty destructive for the most part, unless you've got a nice rotational grazing system happening. But for the most part, people are abusing that and destroying systems. But that's not the cow's problem or fault. It's the human's fault, human's problem. So the cows are actually a regenerative tool. So they should be seen as something useful. And you see the hay fields where they're just cutting hay, and the grass is just so devoid of any life at all. But you bring a cow back in, or a bunch of cows, and you graze that, and you get that biology back in there, you get all that manure back on there, and that life comes back into the hay field. So that's why we're using the cow horn and cow parts for this one. There's one specific rule, and it has to be mixed for 1 hour. So you have to dedicate yourself. So if I'm doing a full hand mix, I might only be spring or autumn. But I got the flow form, so I can just mix up kind of whenever. But this one vial does 250 square meters. So it's about 75 grams an acre is the application rate on this. So it's not a lot, but it goes very far. So this is the one tool that I use. I usually use a nice long piece of grassy stalk, but there's none around here.
Break one off over there.
So we're going to split this into 2 buckets today. Might just get it out, everyone come and feel it and smell it and just get their hands into it.
Sorry, how many acres did you say that was?
So this one vial is a 250 square meter dose, but 75 grams does an acre.
1 acre, you said 75 grams,
Yeah.
1 acre. 1 vial.
75 grams does an acre. So it's quite handy. Sometimes in the field I just keep this in my pocket, and if I'm brush cutting or I'm tickling or scything or anything and I accidentally get a tree, then I pull this out, just a little bit of spit on the fingers, rub it, and just rub it on the wound. It helps to heal the wounds, because trees as well, with the bark, Steiner talks about the bark of the tree actually being an extension of the earth, pushed up. So the BD500 is really good for that as well. But I'll just hand a bit around, so everyone just pass it around, smell it. Smell it, pretty good. Thanks you guys. Right, so that's one prep. The foundation prep. When you're finished with it, just come and bring it into the bucket. I just want you to rub it between your fingers in the bucket. And always chuck something copper inside the bucket. You get a copper tube from Bunnings. Just prop it up. See if it's ready to get some copper. Yeah, we might as well bring it in because we actually got to have to stir that up for a while. The copper is like just a way to ionically charge the water. Give it a little bit of an electrical charge. Just it's, yeah, in there, sitting in there. Think about electricity, batteries storing everything. It's also put copper into the soil, 10 grams per 14 square meters. So that's not efficient copper. By doing that, having a little copper pump, just drop away in the bucket, you get that much naturally. So that's a 500. You just want to get the little clumps and you really just want to rub it and dissolve it into the water. Get them all out, and then we're gonna get the vortex happening. So you want to go around the bucket. You can use a stick or your hand. You're wanting to push that vortex deep into the bucket. So you want that to go deep down. And this is a way of stimulating the water. Right now it's dead, it's been piped, it's stagnant, water's alive, it's living. You look it all up. It doesn't matter, you just go one way, and then you go the other once you get that deep vortex. This turns the water on, it re-energizes it, it makes it alive again. It's the same way as... Yeah, rainwater's obviously the best. Spring water's actually a little bit better, but if you don't have that, just town water, leave it up there for a couple of days in the sun, just mix it up, put a copper in at that point, and let it warm up. That's about the best you can do to rainwater. Town water. So you're really wanting to switch that water on and mimic the way it moves through the mountains, Yep.
Does it matter how much water's in the bucket originally?
It doesn't really matter too much, just depends on how much of an area you're spraying. So a bucket like this half bucket can easily do this area. So just kind of it's just to carry it, It's just a way to get it out. And so I'll move the bucket around. This is it. You want to stabilize it from the outside, come in, whip it, you want that to go almost to the bottom, and then you're going the other way, stabilise it, whip it, and then you're going the other way. We'll do it for the full hour while we're all making the CGT pit over here, because I want you guys to just notice at the moment the structure of the water. It's very aggressive. I'm trying to whip it. It's not wanting to move with me. It's making a lot of fuss. But by the end of the stirring, it is like there's no weight at all in the water. We're gonna check it out. So we're gonna move on to the next prep, which is CPP, which stands for Cow Pat Pit. Now, Cow Pat Pit is it's like a tool in the tool bag. So it's probably the most powerful inoculant on the market, so to speak. The cheapest one you can make because you're making it yourself. But it's made out of 100% cow manure. And we're going to make that anyway, but we use the biodynamic preparation. So 502, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 in the pit as well. And one of these prep sets, these little vials, does 50 cubic meters of compost. So they're quite potent. Yeah, it's still a lot, isn't it?
So is that the pure 503, 504?
This is pure. We make all this out in Mulu. I think it's us and the BD Association who make these. We're the only person in Queensland definitely that are making these. So if you guys do need some preps, just reach out to Katrina and I'm sure she can organise it all.
Thanks, yeah. No worries, I'll do it.
But I'll hand a bit of this around because I want you to feel a bit of this. This has been in the jar for probably 2 months. Doesn't lose its viability. You can see the grass shoots and everything is still in there. So just take a little bit of this and rub it between the fingers. Just feel the velvety humus.
Was it dry when it was put in, Kane?
We're gonna figure out. We're gonna do the whole thing right here, right now.
Lovely.
Get some probiotics back in the body. How you going?
Yeah.
Feel the humus too. I want to feel the silky, velvety structure.
He's gonna do one later.
And this is some pretty hardcore stuff. Like it's hydrated now, but when it's a little bit less hydrated, you tip it on the bench and you water, and it just sucks all that water up, and you can roll it into a ball, and it doesn't let go of the water, and then you squeeze it, and all the water comes out. So it brings that physical effect to the soil as well. And in Chennai, they're studying it in the university because obviously biomass over there is pretty big. But they're studying it in the Chennai University, and on the 90 days of the pit, they're finding biology in there and minerals transmuting, because there's trace elements in there that were not in there to begin with.
Wow.
So yeah, they've done studies on their fields, and the roots go down 4 times deeper. The soil is more friable, it's more receptive to water, and of course more biology in there as well. There's actually I forget the specific strain, but there's a set of biology in here that comes in around the 90-day mark, and they stimulate growth through hormones. It's like a growth hormone type, but a natural version, of course. In a similar way to the forest floor, all the humus is in there, and it's acting as a growth hormone. So these are all the preps. I'm not going to talk about them because it'll take me forever. But I'll talk about oak bark, seeing as we're getting a lot of rain right now. So this is an oak bark prep. It's really nice. You guys can pass it around, have a look, take the cork off, and or whatever. That's the oak bark preparation. So what we do is we take the bark of the oak tree, because it's got about 77% calcium in it. We grind that up and we pack it inside of a skull. It's not any particular skull, but it's just more so living calcium element inside a living calcium vessel. We try to stay away from minerals, putting lime on the soil and all that sort of stuff, if we can. And so that's a way of activating and enlivening the calcium processes in the soil, of course in the compost piles, so that regulates the calcium. Yep.
That was really school-like. Why do you avoid putting lime? Because a lot of people will put lime on their gardens.
Yeah. Like, I work with farmers quite a lot, and you go to these farmers and they're saying, oh, the soil's so heavy, we put lime on every year, lime. What happens is you just get a lime layer in the soil, nothing ever changes. So they're trying to waken something up by putting a dead rock on there. So we want to try and just stimulate the living channels, and of course there's no shortage of calcium inside the soil. There's, about 1 metre down, there's a bunch of rocks in there which are all, got a lot of calcium in there. The soil's made from these weathered minerals, so there is no deficiency, which I'm sure all you guys have heard that before, that is, it's just the biology really that open it up. Although then you also got succession, so succession's different. So if you've got bare soil, you're obviously not going to go and stick a fruit tree in there, right? Because that's higher succession. So you're going to start, the weeds are going to come in first, woodies and the farmer's friends and everything. And that's going to create the habitat, and then grasses and clovers will come in, and then you'll start to get the trees coming through. So that's a succession cycle, which is that's plant community. So plant and soil, it gets a little bit tricky, but mainly you only really need to feed the soil compost. That's all I see as what the soil needs. That's all I use in my systems. And we might use rock minerals every now and then just for the energetics, like plagonite, which is a high paramagnetic rock, just for the kind of magnetic currants that are in there, but other than that, I just use compost and diverse mulch cover crops. So I like to grow all my own mulch, all my own cover crops, and that's between that and small amounts of compost, I haven't seen any need to put anything else on. Getting back to the 505, so we're not regulating, controlling all the calcium processes in the pile, but the way we bury it is we bury it in a pit, right? And then we chuck heaps of vegetable matter in there, heaps of real slimy stuff that's going to rot down, and so we brew up a lot of fungus, and then we bury it back over, and then we divert the water stream into the pit and then back out of the pit. So it can be a grey, constantly running grey water, it can be a stream channel, just whatever water source you can get in there. What that does is that generates a lot of fungal activity inside that, and so this 505 that's sitting inside that pit for 5-6 months, it generates this relationship with fungus. And so when you're actually putting that in the soil, then the plant is able to the fungus is not able to jump onto the plant because it's creating an opposite charge to the fungus's life force. So it can't actually jump, can't actually touch the plant. It's got a little force field over it now. So we grow in zucchinis 20 centimeters apart, rain for weeks, no mildew.
Wow.
I'll probably have to take a photo.
Yeah. Send it to him.
They're on top of each other, and there's no mildew. So that's one prep, and then I'll just talk about the dandelion prep because I really like that one. We take the dandelion flowers. We're using the dandelion because we're wanting, and I should probably mention the reason why we're using plant and animal parts is because the plants, that ethereal type, runs off ethereal. But as we were talking earlier, the cows, the animals, they run off astral. And that thinking and feeling kind of aspect is that astrality inside the animal. So when it wants to go eat this type of grass, that type of grass, and those water, that's an astral kind of pathway that it's using. And so by taking the plant and putting it with that, we then give that to the plant. So we're enhancing the aspects of the plant. So with the dandelion, we're taking the salicylic acid processes and we're energizing them, and we're giving them that astrality. So we're putting that inside a mesentery, which is a stomach lining of a cow. And it's really interesting when you open it and you look, and there's these little panes, there's windows. It kind of looks, when the stomach's there, it kind of looks like the universe, and you're looking in through these little windows. So that, when it gets buried in the soil, is taking those forces and pushing it through the windows and condensing it into the dandelion prep.
Do you put that in with the cow homes?
They're all separate. All separate pits, yeah. But what that does is it then activates that salicylic acid process, which for us it's our organs, right? Sensory organs are run by that process as well. So we're then kind of putting a sensory perception into the compost pile, which of course goes in the soil, and then the plants then have that sensory perception, which then enable them to go, I need a boron. Let's go stretch over here. At this point in time, it will either be stretching into here, taking what it needs, or stretching into the food for us because it's needing whatever from there. So it can actually stretch through and take and draw into itself what it needs. And if you think about your cell phone and how you got a silica crystal inside your cell phone, and when you text a message or make a call, that information, particle information, is going inside that crystal, and that crystal's beaming it out, beaming it across to a cell phone tower. So it's all there. We just need to rethink about it all. And we know that the mycelium networks and that can drag and draw physically, but that's physically. We're talking about energetically. This isn't limited by the physical material world. So that's one prep. But the dandelion, you come out one day, the flower's there, and then the next day you come out and there's already seeds. You know what I mean? So it stimulates that flower to fruit process. So you can actually isolate this preparation and put it in some water. And if you've got a fruit tree or whatever that's in flower, you can hit it with a dandelion prep, and all that fruit will come. So there's little ways that you can use these preparations. That's kind of what I'm working with at the moment, is figuring out isolating and using them as tools rather than just all compost or all CPP. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about. That's the two preps. We're just going to stop there for now. It's a bit of entry level, so let's get some CPP making happening, and then let's get planting. So That's there for now. Anyone's got the 5055 file? If you've got any CPP, just chuck it in the bucket with the stuff. But just rub it between your hands, just feel it come out. You want to dissolve it all. So if anyone's got CPP, just go to your nearest bucket and oh, I hope you guys aren't afraid to get your hands dirty. Alright guys, my favourite part of the workshop. I just bring one bag, usually it's 2 bags, but I thought it's probably going to be a bit too much. Alright, we'll start with that. The cow manure doesn't really matter, so there's no chemicals in there, worms or tick or whatever. It's going to be clean source, grass beds, cows. So, everyone get up here, just want to get a hands-on experience.
Yeah, I can see it moving.
So what we're going to do is we're going to pick out all the foreign material. Green sticks. We'll have wash buckets on hand, but it takes a little while.
It only takes 3 days.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Stop there.
Depends how long it's been sitting in the bag. Foreign So we wouldn't need it just the same way we make dough. How do you think the ground looks? Already fallen around. It's like worms, you know? So you really want to strongly massage it. You put your muscle into it and you really want to bind it up. Okay? It's got to be nice and taste like this thing. Completely different. You got that. You got that.
It can't come in as means dirty. It can't come in again bloody.
So, you get a little bit of a production line happening. We'll get all the finished stuff over here. So when you think it's ready, just give me a buzz and I'll have a look.
Who'd have thought you'd have come along just when I what an we're amazing. We're awesome. We're awesome. Oh, did you put a change? And then you start.
Hands are very clean, huh?
I didn't get anything
Like to wash really, yeah.
Racing. You do actually need to keep it.
Yes. So I can
Very creative.
You could just load all this back, load all this in there now. Take it over into the first area. This is a good consistency. This is what we're looking for. It just feels nice, it's light, it's fluffy.
Ready to bake into a nice cake.
Yeah.
So we're doing it in the
So you're using cow, who assuming it's dry.
You want it fresh within 2-3 days. You don't want to be buying things dry or things off the side of the road. Just go talk to someone, anyone that you know of cows, just offer me kids for money to get it has to be cow when you're cow factory. Yeah, I'm just thinking like if we put it here, then any roots that come in, we just have to chop one side. Oh, then yeah.
Good, no, good. Well, we'll just dump them around. Sorry, I'll get out of your way.
Thank you.
You got no hope. More suggestion is you buy a jackman or a dog truck or
I've got 2 big banana trunks down the front.
Yeah, this will be alright for the volume.
Oh, okay.
We've chopped them up and brought them back.
Oh,
Yeah, we.
But we can cut some more.
Here we go. He's throwing it in here. What?
After all the hard work. Poor thing. You've got your exercise.
Yeah, I got an exercise for that.
I guess no one bring a hoe with them.
You want a hoe? I've got plenty of them.
Yeah, grab my hoe or a hoe. Right, so we've only got 1 bag of manure. We should probably do a small pit. Like this.
Don't come out too far, the council will run over it, mate.
Oh yeah? Okay, maybe you go like this.
Go in.
Yeah. On the end.
It's going to be there for a while.
That's okay. So we'll go with a pit like that. So it should be pretty good. I'm just going to chip out the grass and get that nice soil contact.
So how deep does the pit go? Do you dig in or?
So you can go up to like 30 centimeters. This is on top of the ground. Usually use terracotta bricks, but in our country, you know, who's got terracotta bricks? So logs, sometimes I use whole logs, just eucalyptus logs. This is like a long term, we're going to set it up long term. You never know what's happening in these sorts of environments, so banana trunks are the perfect thing to use because they're going to break down almost at the same time the pit's ready, and they're going to release the water into there and feed all the biology underneath, so the quality improve that as well. So we just want to chip out the grass.
What do you do if there's lots of roots underneath? Like tree roots?
That's alright, just give them a slice at the back if they come in. With a mattock or a machete or what do you got, just cut them off. But you're going to be turning it as well, so you're going to be disturbing things. So there's not a huge stress on that in this type of side, but mainly I picked this position because shaded, it's cool, got the transpiration, got a bit of rain protection as it push it out, and then you just have to chop one side if you do get the roots. Underneath the house is a good spot too. Mainly just shade, a little bit of protection, and not directly under really big trees. I think that should be about it. Well, that should do us. If you don't like a slope or anything, you just slice the bottom of the log and get a flat side. Right, so now you guys want to grab some manure and pack it in the pit. Just gently kind of, we don't want to compact it too much. Yeah, there you go, like a baby. Start from the one end because you might not have enough. You might have to change the dimensions. There's kind of set dimensions to this, but it really doesn't matter as long as you got at least that much depth. You're going to get the process happening.
I understand you.
And usually with we come back over the top with Hessian sacks. Do you guys have any wet Hessian sacks around? Yeah. I've got one over there from the. You got one? Sweet.
Why are they rolled into red copper?
Oh, sorry.
Hey, that's just handable. You know, knead roll it. It's just hand processing kind of size. There's no full-on reason
Is that
behind
the
it.
height? You want to go a little
Yeah,
higher?
just pack that corner in a bit more. Yeah. So we probably
the last-
actually just.
The last bit.
We actually probably want to raise this up a little bit. So if you just pack that edge, it should be. And just
So
pack
but
it
you don't want to
the
force that there,
dip.
just
Nah. So is it? Yeah.
so like that.
Sometimes if you need it, you can go like this.
It's not really difficult. You just
Open up your fingers.
away the soil, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just move the wheelbarrow out there.
So build a bit more just here. Just there. Got it. Good. So when you do a full size pit, which is about 3 feed bags, it does 50 acres. So then you can store it in a clay pot, so you got long storage. Usually the first thing we do when we get to a degraded landscape with the farmer is we make the PPP pits. Just because it's so cheap, you know, you've got cow manure there, you've got the preps there, you know, to do 50 acres of land. We sell the prep sets for $75, and that's a pretty good price to do 50 acres of land. So.
Okay, do you want it wet? Do you want me to wet it?
Yes please. So now it's just breaking up the surface a little bit. Just bonding it all together. We don't want a lot of air to get in there. Just kind of making it as even as possible. Probably really should have put the big log on the lower side. That's alright. Now we're just going to come with a gentle rounding of the surface. Because we want to stop air getting in there and drying everything out.
Excuse me, Kane, did you put preps in with this when you were doing it?
The preps come after.
Oh,
So we're going to get this all sorted and then we're going to get the preps in.
honestly.
So this is just straight cow
Yeah.
poo
So
with the grass and sticks and everything taken out.
yeah.
Nothing added.
So usually you put a little bit of basalt in here and some crushed eggshells as well. This is just a super basic CPP. Just get it in there, get it done. But if you've got crushed eggshells around, yeah, chuck them in there, and it's just basically a handful of eggshell, handful of basalt or volcanic rock as you're mixing it and kneading it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take valerian. So a set of preps like this set will do one full 50 acre pit and another 50 acre pit. So you can get two pits done with the vials. I'm just chucking a splash in there, just a valerian. It's got a really musty kind of vinegary odour. And you're just wanting to bond it into the water. You don't need a lot, but you just want to get the vortex action going again. So that's good. It's got a nice odour in there. Now with the other preps, what we're wanting to do is 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, 4 hole, and 5 hole. On a full size pit, you're going to use half a vial, but on a pit of this size, you're only using a dash. Okay, very small dash. Pinhead.
And these are in a particular order.
Doesn't matter which order they go in around the pit, just that they're in their own individual holes. and separate.
So the middle one doesn't.
Doesn't have to be any specific type or order.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Do the preps last a long time, Kane?
In the vials like this?
Yes.
Yeah, we can store them for up to a year without losing its quality, as long as there's moisture in there. If they do dry out with the air and that, just take them out in the rain and rehydrate them with rainwater. But that's really, they can last a very long time. In India they have them there in their storage sheds for 2-3 years at the biodynamic farming school. The good thing about it is mostly energy, so it doesn't really wear off, so to speak. You don't want them to dry out though. It's like electricity, you put a power cord in the water and step in there, you're going to get electrocuted. So you need that water you need that hydration to open everything up. So we're just covering over, place the preps so you know that you've actually know where you've put what one. There you go, back out. And then you got the valerian, and you just need to sprinkle the valerian over the top. That puts a blanket over it, and it seals it, and it traps in everything that's going on. So that's plenty. And then we're just getting a adhesion sack. One will do. Probably want to get another one on there. It's quite thick, so it's nice.
Where do you get those sacks?
Another one. Me, my sacks for my adhesion bags. I buy them in big pallets from a bag supplier.
They've got them in some nurseries in Bunnings as well.
Yeah.
And Koroy Landscape here got them. Yeah.
Go down your local coffee roaster and see if he's got some sacks out the back. They usually have heaps. It's actually a problem for them. Just like that. Now you've made your pit, and in 3-4 weeks you come back and give it one turn, and then it can be ready in 8 weeks, so you can give it another turn and then wait. Depends what you're doing. If you want to generate more fungal strains, and you leave it.
So you mix everything up.
Yeah, so you pull
When
it
you
out.
turn it,
Yep.
you take it all out.
Yeah.
You mix it again
Yep.
and put it back as you
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's basically bare minimum, so that's going to get you your CPP. I've made prep pits like this that have good aeration and just left them, and you get a lot of fungal strains coming. You got mushrooms popping out, everything just goes crazy. So I mean, you can work with it to some degree. It's all experimental, of course. But that's the pit. So we want to head back over and get a little high density system quickly planted. It'll take long to plant.
Created one in my veggie garden.
So do you let it dry out first, or you pick it up?
So not too far, maybe 5 minutes.
Do you have visitors or courses there? Or?
We don't really do visitors, but we do courses. So we got a full day, biodynamic agriculture course. On the 3rd of April, Saturday. That was sold out. Someone actually made it for this one. Alright, so I don't know if anyone's used the blends before, but I just wanted to show. Got on the top here, I've got the Rumi Force, which is it's a no-till potting and seed raising blend. And then we've got the Morpheus just below it. A little bit wet from all the rain, but
So rich.
and this is a proper sticky, proper farm grade humus based compost, super velvety, super structure. That's what I'm talking about. Come have a smell. Just some rocks here and there sometimes. So that's the Ruby Force, the potting blend. And then yeah, this is the CPP in the jar that's been talking about, but that is the finished Morpheus blend that we have. So it's also known as a prairie blend. We've taken a rotational grazing, the Alan Savory, the bison moving across the landscape, and the prairies and the birds coming behind. So I've taken all those ecosystem interactions and pushed that into a biodynamic compost blend. So it's basically pure manure. So there's about 3 cows daily manure load and 20 odd chickens in each bag, so it's really high potency.
And how, do you mix it up with other soil or?
This is pure, yeah,
So you just use this?
100%. There's
nothing
no
else?
bark in there, there's no sand in there.
So when you do your
This is the soil mix that we make for pots and seed raising or fruit tree growing, tube stocks, any of that.
for vegetable growing, what do you use?
This is what I use. So we're going to use that now.
So you only use this?
Only use that, and 2 bags to 1 bed would be like a heavy dose. 1 bag will easily do one of those beds for high production. That's the Morpheus blend, like the fertilizer. When we look at that as a fertilizer, soil conditioner, biology, humus. Hey? No, the stuff out the pit's a concentrated preparation, which was in that big jar that I handed around. No, this is something. This is a compost. This is a real compost. This is not a Bunnings cow manure compost that's full of bark. Because the last time I checked, cows don't pull out bark. This is a proper farm grade stuff that we sell to people who produce food for a living. This is what you want to be using in the soil.
The prep over there, how do we spread that over 50 acres?
So we're gonna go through that with the buckets. So first, if we can get a rake over here, we're gonna open up the bed and just gently restructure it a little bit.
This is how you make it. How did you make this?
This is a thermophilic biodynamic compost. So
Yeah, no, but how did you make it?
how did I make it?
Yeah.
The same way you make a compost pile.
It is just cow poo and chicken poo.
There's a bit of other ingredients in there, but
Secret ingredients.
and a huge process. 5-6 days fermentation.
So fumigation. How to make it?
I don't actually teach people how to make this unless I'll teach my daughter, but I don't teach other people. People try and steal my recipe all the time, and how do you come over and actually want to do it for themselves and profit from it. So I actually get people that have the nerve to come to me and ask that. But this you're not going to be able to make yourself. This is large scale, local, but from harvesting material from all around here, we can make a compost pile. This is like really pungent, full on manure.
To the public?
Yeah, we sell bags like that for $16.50. Or we sell bulk. We got a bulk blend which is similar to this, but it's not quite as intense. And that's 250 a cubic metre, which is a small crop producers blend. This is what market gardeners and stuff buy that one. But this is the highest potency, so if you want to bring a tree back from the dead, or you want to grow some crops in Glenwood, in the desert, that's what we use. And we've put this on trees, we come back a week later and the entire tree is full of flowers, everything's got new growth. All the trees we planted have got, it's one of my clients, it's hit me up and wants me to come back out. He says everything's just going crazy, you can't handle it. So I got to get back there and take a photo. But
Under a tree then?
it depends on the size of the tree.
That's
But
just a banana tree.
a banana tree,
A little one.
a little one, you'd probably just go that.
And you just sprinkle that around the root base?
Tickle it in, give it a good water and mulch over the top.
Okay.
How long does it last?
If you keep it in the shade somewhere, on a tarp, stab some holes in the tarp so it can just connect, and then cover it with that much hay, it'll be good for 6 months and keep its quality and just keep increasing. After that, it'll get bored and the biology will come out of here.
And so you spread that around like annually? Seasonally?
Depends, like if you're resetting the bed and you're producing crops, you get that in the ground.
Okay.
You got a fruit tree and you know it's about to fruit or something, you'll get that on there, or post fruit. If you want to give anything a boost or just anything to grow 3-4 times quicker, then you'll get it on there. Yeah.
So it'd be fantastic for a new garden.
Everything, yeah. A friend of mine, her mum does like a cottage garden, roses and all that. Every time a friend comes to it, can you get more compost of that boy? It's made for the soil and the soil systems to pull the soil up to the highest state of fertility. So it's not really like plant specific, but if you're doing succulents or natives or whatever, you're just going to reduce the quantity. Fruit and veg, natives, flowers, whatever. Roses, you can go pretty hard and get the whole thing just come out. But yeah,
It wouldn't benefit from us from the sound
yeah,
of it.
that's right. It's that made for the planet.
Put some in the pan when
You can actually roll up. I've actually got a ball. You just roll it up and get that, and squeeze it really hard and get together. Roll it in a ball, stick it on your dash, and dry up like a rock. And you won't be able to break it open because that humus is gluing everything together. That's where all the microbes hang out. It's where the growth hormones are. It's okay. Water storage as well, water infiltration, everything comes down to humus.
So if we want to buy some of this, what's the best way? Do we go?
Trainer.
Maybe we can compile like a list and then do a bulk order or
Yeah,
something.
that sounds great. Yeah, if you guys get a list together, do a bulk order for the trainer, and we'll give a discount. So,
Great.
yes, the middle one. Okay, so what we're going to do, you want to pop this and stuff ready. So we're just going to open the bed up a little bit. Looks really nice under here. And what we're going to do is we're going to just change the shape of it just slightly. So when you're thinking about bed prep or anything, we're going to go through it, but you want to think about every single little tiny raindrop of water. How's it going to fall on the bed? Is it going to roll off or go this way or go that way? How can we catch and condense all that water and energy into the soil? And the best way to do that is a slightly V shape. So nice, that's what we want to see, hey? I'm not used to seeing those when I'm on different places.
And there's handfuls of them in there. Absolutely handfuls.
That's a very gentle V that we're trying to open here. And then we just gently back over. Get this so slightly V-shaped. Alright, so we got the bananas. Bananas are like the mothers, yes, so we're going to use the trunks with our veg and learn how to use those. But we're going to go high density. We're going to go a banana in the middle and 2 bananas on the outside. Whether you want to grab and join in. A couple people want to bring. Does it usually stay fully soggy here, or?
Yeah, this is the pooling area,
Okay.
which is perfect for the banana.
All right. So if we can grab some compost, a couple people just grab a couple handfuls. Yeah, man, we'll just open up that hole.
Pour it in, Kane.
Yeah. So just get it in the hole and then around the little dam wall here as well. Some in this hole. Yeah. When you open it up, you want to give it a good dose. So yeah, bit in here, sprinkle it on the roots, get that root contact. Yep.
I will do your roots.
So about
So in the hole first?
Yeah, in the hole. Two of these handfuls per tree.
One more handful.
One more handful. You're doing it for?
So we're just
Okay, the other one.
Put it on there.
Okay, here comes
And the rest one, so it's just normal.
you think about planting the trees and stuff. You want to look at what way the solar panel's facing. You obviously want to point it in the most sun path. You don't want to point it away and then go. Turn around.
Here, in the bed.
Usually go a bit deeper, but I don't know if I want to try and dig into the swamp.
It's prepared here.
And then we're just gonna dig it. We're gonna take the sides, all sides, and bring it in. We want to keep that bowl shape. Looking at what way she's facing. So we're trying to keep that same, dish trying to get all that water and everything, pushing it in. So we get that in there and then to stabilize it all, we're wanting to just get the fingers, it's just gentle, but it's just going to gently hold things where we want it and give it a little more strength to the tree. I'm not a big fan of pushing down on stuff, especially when it's wet soil like this. If you don't have enough to form your dish, just take from here and take from around. Yep, and then we want to grab another double handful, maybe just one handful because we only got one bag. We just want to get that all across the surface, get a little inoculation happening.
So 103 only?
Yeah, just around the base. Yep. There you go, perfect. That's going to inoculate it through the surface. So that's going to get our medium layer and our emergent layer. We're going to use papaya. So usually I'll use eucalyptus and use that as my biomass generator. Can't beat a eucalyptus, especially when that heat wave comes. Just sucks it up and just goes straight up. The fastest growing tree. It's what I plant everywhere and anywhere. It's our native tree, so it grows anywhere. It's going to find the right. Have a look over there, you know, flooded gum, sweet. Got that one here, flooded. And it'll grow this tall. It'll grow this tall from here in 3 months. Beautiful. You know, that's my experience with the barn compost. I don't know if it'd be different anywhere else, but yeah.
It becomes very big, eucalyptus.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got a lot of energy and it's got a lot of drive for the sky, and then you're coming and you're chopping and dropping. It's just a chop and drop producer. So you're not actually going to go, yeah, I'm going to grow a 30-40 metre tall eucalyptus, because then you start to get things out of proportion.
Yeah.
And unless your understory species are also going to grow to 30-40 metres, then that's why a lot of people go, oh, eucalyptus suck up all the water, rah, rah. And you know, the eucalyptus is there and they're planting their plants at the base of the eucalyptus tree that's 40 years old. You're 40 years behind the cycle. It's already gone.
Yeah.
You're not even in the same ring. You're miles down and you're on top of a piece of wood, a root. So of course there's going to be no water there. But you go 20 metres down slope, you dig in, there's going to be more water there than there is up slope. The trees are pouring the water and those roots are what send that water into the aquifer, charge up our aquifer and bring the water up. So you plant trees everywhere, but you know, some people do see the eucs or the acacias, especially up my way. It's it's a black acacia, or just mainly acacia trees. And on our property, we've got grass over our head, vibrant and green, underneath the acacias. And everywhere else, they're saying, oh, nothing grows under the acacias. So you're not giving the tree what it needs. You're not giving it the rest. You're not, you know. So it comes down to management as well. Anyway, don't get me started on that water thieving stuff. Alright, so with that emergent, because this and a fruit tree are basically same level, they'll clog each other up. But if you with the emergence, you can go here. Right, it's going to be shaded and then it's going to push straight up through the banana. It's going to go overstory. Okay, so that's where it wants to be, and that banana is going to ride up with it. Just try to go up with it. So you're going to stimulate everything. You can go that close because it's a community garden and that. I'm gonna space them about there just so there's not so much management. If we can get another handful or two of compost.
Okay, they're standard bananas you're using, not dwarf?
Yeah, I use. Yeah, that's probably a little too much for your size. Yeah. Just chuck the rest here because we'll top it with it. Yep, beautiful. Yeah, so if you use half of what you got there, and then top the rest, beautiful. Remember to position it here, sun's going there, push it that way. That's where we're wanting to get them.
So usually, what height do you let that grow to, like before you
this, the papaya, well you grow it and you keep it at a manageable height so you can harvest, but it's a short-lived tree, you know, you're only going to get about 3 years.
Okay.
But then you're going to start to cut it and drop it and use it as a eucalyptus, your biomass producer. But usually before I move it, it's seaweed, it's Charlie Carp, and it's the BD 500 mixture. So I always water, then wait 10 minutes and then plant, just to reduce the shock, but time's of the essence here.
When you drop it, do you replace
Gentle,
it with
gentle,
something else?
top dress. Sorry, what was that?
When you drop it, can you replace it with something else then?
It's just going to keep growing, so you just chop,
Okay.
just keep.
Yeah.
If your plant is pot bounded,
Or you can let it go up if you want and keep a shady canopy.
do you
tease out the roots?
I don't touch the roots unless they're twisting and root bound, and then I just chop them off. Just chop them off, get them out. But generally, I try not to touch it. Is this a
Eggplant?
is it eggplant? Is it? Right, tomatillo. Cool. All right, so we've got some eggplants. We can go low structure, and then we got some cassias. I think we're gonna leave these out for now. The pigeon peas we can get.
I've got seed as well for that.
Yeah, if you got seed, we'll
Yeah,
just use
so
the
just
seed.
to make
Okay, cool. All right, so at this point, that's just full basic structure, home structure. Now, at this point in time, you can go high density on the vegetables. You go bang, 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 bang. But on the tree row, because we're putting this here to support the veg row, I'd prefer to sow some cover crops in there. I do have some cover crops with me. So we've got a cover crop mix of lupins, oats, field peas, stylo, glycine, 2 types of lucerne, 2 types of gadden panic, a couple of types of rhodes, and some clover as well. So it's a proper, 10-12 way mix. That's what you really want to hit. You're going to use covers. So I'll put a couple of rips here and a rip in the centre where the cover crop are going to go. So I don't know how everyone feels, but there's 2 of these types of seeds are coated. Is it going to be alright to put coated seeds in here, or what?
What do you mean by coated?
So a couple of
Coated,
yeah.
coated, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fungicide, but I can chuck it in the rip if you want. But the compost, I'm pretty confident that the compost can basically eat that fungicide. It's not a herbicide. When it comes to herbicide, they're persistent, and then you have dramas. I wouldn't prefer to use a fungicide coated seed, but when you're using this type of seed and buying this quantity, it's like nearly impossible to find any seed that is not coated. It's just like oats, oats or lupins, you can get big bulk bags, not coated. Just want to check if that's okay.
Yep.
Cool. So it's also just got a little bit of lime on there, just sprinkle some lime on there just to bind the seeds up a bit, just to help spread them out, gives them a bit more volume. There are some tiny seeds in there. So we're chucking 2 here, and we're wanting to just use those to create the biomass, so we can have extra spots. You might want to go that way or that way. If this was like a not interactive area, I'd go up there with a couple rips, I'd go there with a couple rips, and I'd go here, and I'd let all the vegetation just grow. Let it all grow long, and when it's about yay high, shifting from flowering into seed, then we're going to brush cut it and then just pack it on the bed. Almost the same way that you see here. So we're building up the V, and then we're concentrating matter on the actual fruit trees. So we're going to get the cover crops in here too, and I want full coverage in here. I want there to be aggressive cover. I don't want to see any ground, and I don't want the cover crop touched until it's up here. If it's coming over the banana, that's what you want. You want to put the pressure there. You want to build up the energy, and then you want to come back and chop and release.
And then let it grow again.
Yeah, but there's some perennials in here. So lucerne, clover, gadden panic, which is like this 8-foot tall grass that's got this huge blade on it. It's a massive meaty grass, a bit like Mombasa, which we use in the syntropic systems, except it can handle the sun and it just takes the sun. So that's the gist of it. And then just gently raking in, gently covering. So that's going to produce our matter, but it's also going to dive deep into the soil. When you get that combination of cover crops, you're going down 1, 2, 3. Even the lucerne, you're going down 20 feet. Your lupins are going down. The only thing that's in here that you are going to have to manage is the legume vine, which is the cuproglycine.
So
Very aggressive.
Hey? Will that go through the shaft?
Oh, it'll go to the centre of the earth if you let it. Yeah, this is a mix that can break over any type. Doesn't matter what you're on, it's going to get through there. It's going to break it all open because you got the diversity. If I'm just putting oats and lupins in here, so if you're chucking in that firepower, you're chucking in handfuls of grenades into the soil, and you've got all the different root structures, all the different height structures. There's an annual and a perennial mix that I've blended together. So you get the annual surge, the oats and the lupins and all that, and then you get the perennials, the clovers, the lucernes coming through, the gadden panics, and they take the they take the space once you've harvested the matter. But you're not going to slow down production in winter. Because that space is soggy and boggy. I'm just gonna get that down my foot. If someone wants to do the same in there. That's all we're running with, and then we're going to grab a tiny little bit of sugar cane, and we're just going to sprinkle it in. We're going to give it a protection. We don't want to block it out, so to speak. We're just going to give it a little bit of a environment. Yeah, scatter mulch it. Now, same with the outsides. You know, you're wanting to scatter mulch just enough, but there's big seeds here too, and there's small seeds. So the big seeds are going to push up through, and the small seeds will come around that. So you know, if this was just one tiny little seed, yeah, you might not get as much germination, but because it's that multiple, that diversity, you know, you can stick a monocrop in the ground, or you can stick a forest crop in the ground. You're going to have a different effect. Making sure you keep that structure open and friable. And this mimics the way that the storms come in. You've got tall grass, they've got seed heads on them. The storm comes and blows them all around, and the seeds come flying off, and all the grass that falls on top of it. So it's a nice natural way to stimulate the seed. You want to be the other bed? It's nice and deep-ish around the trees. So when you cut the cover crop, it's basically like the most high-powered fertilizer you can get for your crops. All the root action, when it gets cut, sends that surge in the soil, sends a pulse in the soil, releasing all the growth hormones. It's stimulating all the plants, it's releasing a lot of energy, releasing a lot of pressure, and then you've got that diverse grade of matter. You know, you're growing it with a thick stalk, so you've got lignins, you've got tiny fibres, and all the biology just goes nuts. So that's looking pretty good. Just open up any clumps, just so you can get that structure happening. Nice. So now we're going to check out, who's got the pigeon pea seeds? So have you got the big seeds or the tree seeds? I think I have some citrus, yeah. I think I got some citrus in here. I plant all my fruit tree seeds on my place by seed, just because grafts are weak and they're not long-term trees. Grafts are good to get in there if you're wanting to get a quick crop, but other than that, they're not very good. This is Kaffir lime from one of the lime producers I work with. Plenty of seeds. And that, like, if you're just relying on these seeds in the bed, you'll set back, 3 years till you get a piece of fruit. But we're not. We've got bananas, we've got papayas, we've got cover crops. So this is actually, 2 seconds of your time to put the tree seeds in. So we'll plant them with the papayas, because we know the papayas in 3 years are basically gone. In 3 years, we have the citrus that they're going to come and take their run. And we know there's no cover crops, it's not going to get too flooded out. So we're just making a very small opening. And you know, you want to chuck at least that many seeds in. You're just gently pushing them in, gently covering over. Generally, you just want to keep a gap where they're going to come out. It's like a microclimate in there. And if that seed sprouts up in the soil right here, it's gonna be more drought resistant. It's gonna need less attention. It's proper seed. And then with the pigeon peas, you just want to go high density, at least 2 per hole, poke through in the same manner. It will push up through the cover crop, so it's not a problem, and it's a low strata, so it's going to not get in the way of any of these. To go even on the end here. Alright, so that's basically the fruit system. If you just get the rake and drag the matter back into the bed and get that V on the mulch, then we'll be good. Alright, so we got that V. If everyone just grabs some compost and brings the compost over, we're just going to evenly spread it on the bed. This is a veg system, so we're going to get it on there. This is a beautiful 3-year-old wood chip.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's super high carbon, so we're just going to give it an N dose. It's already got everything we need in there. And the maximum application is 1 inch. On this stuff it's a little bit old, so it's not as firepower, but the fresh stuff that's ready in about 10, 14 days max, that is like, that's burn your nostrils off. So you just, that's probably the max on that stuff. But keep bringing all the compost over, and let's get that into the bed. Let's dose it up and get some vegetation. Yeah, I got another one in my bag.
How many more do you need?
Just one more log to do it. 1 or 2, can. Just gonna half split the logs.
Oops.
So this is why we're planting bananas in the system. So we got something to use. Half split them so they're easy to work with. Right, so we got what we need there. We're going to take these logs, I'm going to place them. Through the bed like this. Just keeping a straight edge line. Now if you've got limited bananas, you can chop them again. And you can get the half cuts. Depends how much banana we have. If we can get some more, we'll just go the whole bed.
One more?
One more?
Do another one?
Yeah, if you can. Like
Thanks, banana
another 2
boys.
if you can. You never have too much banana. So I'll chop it in half. One is one. So if we can get a little bit of we can get both of those BD 500 buckets full of water over here, we're going to give everything a dose. Yeah, that BD juice, BD goodness. Thank you. So when you're sharpening your tools as well, when you sharpen your tools, you want to use this water, you know. You want to bring that energy into the blade, so when your cut is transferring into the vegetation, and that's why the the scythes are always so good at growing grass because it's got the energy of the human being sharpening the blade. It's transferring that into the blade, so you're getting that nice quality interaction. With a mower, you know, you're bringing a mower around and you're smashing up all the grass, all the blades, and all the time just trying to build energy, Even pastures, they're always trying to build energy, bringing it back, trying to bring it in, and then cows come and smash it down and they just flatline again. Same with the mower, comes and smashes it up, and that ripped and smashed up stalk is where all of that energy it's captured is going out. See you later, back out there. So you're releasing that force back out the solar system. So we're wanting to, you know, if a sharp knife or a scythe, you get that, or a cow licking and pulling, it's getting that nice clean cut and you're getting that rapid action. So that's just a little trick with the sharpening. Get this last one processed. Umbrella. Get that on.
Broccoli, cabbage, kohlrabi, cauliflower, carrot, lettuce.
Western sun. So primrose there. Okay.
Oh no, that's just a green soil. The rice snuff is that red-handled one.
Oh, yeah, just a little one.
So we're just going for, you got any carrot?
Yeah.
Carrot, yeah. So it's easy to just go broadcast. We got the kohlrabis going on the edge. Curve those up there. It's all stuck to my hand now, so we'll go a little higher density. Carrot. Just carrot. Carrot. Yeah.
We don't have any.
Yes. So we got carrot. So we got kohlrabi on one side, we got carrot on the other. Which are our quick crops, root crops. We know we're going to get a quick harvest on these guys. Cut that up that end. Any extra seed, we get it in the bed. Now either with a rake or free prong, you're just tickling it in, just like this. On this small scale, it's pretty easy just to go around with your hand. Try not to displace anything too far. Just tickle it in, get the good contact. Now we're going to scatter mulch. Everyone knows how to do that. So we're just going to scatter mulch over those sides. Same way we did with the cover crop. Yeah. That's only a 55-day crop though, so we're going to put something in there that's going to do the same as the citrus. You know, when the papaya dies, we've got something there. When the 55 days gone, we've got something there. So we're going to go with the broccoli.
Green magic or
Let's go each. And if you want to do this side. Yeah, there's only a few there, but we'll just going to take a little bit more.
What I do?
Yeah.
So we're coming back into that residue. Aaron's going to join me on this side. There's 2 little seeds, each hole. Bang. Same way we sow the seeds, space it according to the crop. It's a bit soft, so you probably want to just give them cut down first. You want to kind of have it gently bound to the bed, so if it's fluffy like this, just push it down first, then get the seed in there. Yeah. Just So we got the broccoli coming up with the kohlrabi's establishing, and then when we take the kohlrabi, the broccoli is going to be the long term. This is just a veg system, so we're just doing veg. So at that point, you're going to underplant or change. Maybe we do another workshop here in 6-7 weeks. Get a management workshop happening. So that side's done. Just making sure you're getting that scatter happening, just a gentle scatter. You don't want to block it, you just want to encourage it. And so that's, what else do we have to work with?
Cabbage, cauliflower, and there's just some lettuce.
Okay, so let's just rock a big crop of lettuce in the centre.
We have the seed.
So this,
More lettuce seeds.
and some radish if you do have it.
I haven't got radish.
Okay.
Did anyone bring their radish seed?
So you want to take the matter now, careful not to get it over where you've just worked. And you want to get that over the logs. You don't want it to evaporate, you want to lock the moisture in. Probably want to...
So you want us to help you?
Yeah, so everyone can just cover the log and then make a slit down the centre. Just an opening, we're not going to go too dense, just put just a couple lettuce plants in each.
Daikon radish, was that?
Yeah, we could do that.
Can you use daikon?
Yeah, we'll stop there guys and we'll get some daikon in here first. Alright, so we've got some daikons. We just want to sneak those in. Just scatter them around. So they're good to go. Now we can continue mulching and filling the logs.
Where do you want to put the lettuce?
So the lettuce will go back in the openings here. So if you just chuck 2 seeds, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You just go a twin crop of lettuce down the centre. The daikons, and then we can punch some cabbages in there as well. So with the
You've got cabbage seed or? I've got cabbage.
set lettuce.
Oh,
Yeah. So with the lettuce, you want to place them inside, like we did with the broccolis and whatnot.
My hands won't do that.
Just like that, coming in, placing, getting the good soil contact, so we know we're going to get some good germination. Someone want to grab some of this? 2 seeds each hole.
Kane?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you.
See ya.
Nice meeting you.
So just 2 seeds each hole, 1, 2, poking in through, getting that soil contact.
Be interesting to see it growing.
And I suppose the banana
Just grab
front
them,
must be a way of
going
keeping
in,
moisture. Yeah.
push them like so, gentle cover. Alright, so that's going to be the quick crop, but lettuce, as we know, short cycle, comes and goes pretty quick, so unless you want to have a bare bed in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, then we've got to plant something else with it. So we're going to go with some said cabbage. Something.
Cabbage? I think Patricia's
Lettuce,
got
someone? You got lettuce in here?
Yeah, I do.
And so cabbage is, I mean, we got the broccolis and that on the outsides, we got the carrots, kohlrabi, so it's pretty packed. So we're just going to go one broccoli down the cabbage down the center, and you just gotta keep an eye on the seeds. So come back in 5 weeks or so. I mean, sorry, 2 weeks. Just keep an eye on the seeds. I'm gonna go about every second banana.
So how often would you have to water this now?
I wouldn't be watering this at all,
You won't?
like given the amount of moisture and that's in there. But just same, you're just following the same watering procedure. Yep. You do? Seeds, someone? So I had my copper cup somewhere. The back of my bag there, or? That's in the bucket. Now I like to spread the 500 with the copper cup, and that increases the germination as well. So you get a really good germination rate. And then so with the trees, you're just going with a base soak. Because we've got such wet soil, I'm only doing a little bit. You really want that 500 to get contact with those seeds. That's really what brings the seed up. It's what activates it, what gets it going. And so on a, oh sorry, you got banana trunks. So at that point I'd be packing the banana trunks right into the bed and then chucking the mulch over so you get the bees. Maybe
Bordering?
yeah, border and just be it. So if you're getting this on the landscape, it's the same. Just going out. Who wants some?
Yeah.
So that's how you're applying it on the landscape. You're just getting it out there. 250 square metres. Copper cups, the best you can do. You could probably get some off eBay. Or cut some grass, stick grass in, like that, leaves or anything. Just throwing the hand out there, like that. So we got 2 buckets, so why don't we get another bucket and run a trial. Just push up into this pocket and then push all the way to the concrete and back around here. We'll just give this area a hit and see what happens. If anyone wants to do the honours of the copper cup, or I guess for demonstration we can get some branches up. This branch would be perfect. Get a couple of these. And that's what you want to get in the bucket. So if you get that in the bucket, then you flick that out. It's perfect. Might even get a little florally scent as you're doing it. Add a bit of basil in there.
Anybody else want to have a go? Take a branch. Oh, Neil, you do so well.
So in this way, by planting a system like this, you cover your costs within 6-7 weeks, you know. You got your harvest happening, you got your veg there, you got your lettuce there. Covers the cost of your trees, covers the cost of your compost, your 500, whatever else you have to get going. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's the system. Quickly done. Good to go.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming down. That's good.
1 minute.
So
Need a bit of downtime now.
yeah. So if anyone wants any preparations, trainer, we'll do a good deal for the locals. You can do those for $65 a set, which is probably 2 or 3 times cheaper than anywhere else in the country you're going to get them. But you justify that because we're making it ourselves. We don't have big operations cars. We've got the compost operation, we've got the preps, we've got the farm, we've got the contracting, so we're able to get it a bit lower. But yeah, if you need any compost, you need any preps, you have a farm or anything, you want some consulting, just give us a buzz, reach out, can help out with that. But other than that, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks. Oh, quickly. Sorry. Massive thank you. And we also have a little goodies bag.
Oh, cheers. Nice one.
And we just filled with things. Thank you. We'll put it somewhere where you appreciate it. But yes, contact me and we'll compile a list, and I can't thank you enough. That was awesome.
That's all right. Thanks for inviting me down.
It's going to be so great.
Got something. Thanks for working with me, darling.
Yeah.
So, on that note, guys, when this gets too crazy and everyone can't make too many decisions, that's when Katrina can reach out to me and we could possibly do a management workshop. So what to do when it's actually here, and how to reset it, how to guide it, how to do it again and get it to go where we want. That could probably go on all year. I mean, it's always management to do, so just an idea anyway.
Sometimes you just need that follow on. The first bit,
oh, you do.
that and then
You're
you
like,
think, well, what do I do now?
Got now, when do I cut? How do I cut? Where do I place? What do I chop out? What do I keep where? How do I reset the bed? What's happening there? What can I do now? The covers are cut down. But there's a lot of management things, but yeah.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Just watching the
just recently there was this fall
Yeah.
devastating crops that in the this is the sort of
I wonder if that was what we had when we called.